Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. And before we do get into today's first story, I just want to say a huge thank you for looking after the channel while I was away. Back from holiday now, and we're back in business. And our first story is from NoLong5032 and says, would I be the arsehole if I break up with my boyfriend when this year marks the 10th anniversary of the death of his wife? There's too much to say, but I'll try to make it short. I'm using Google Translate for most of the things. Sorry. In short, I, 34 female, have been dating Leon, 42 male, for 2 years. My uncle became friends with Leon when they started working together, and he started coming to family gatherings and birthdays. Leon is a great guy, and we got along instantly. My family always talked to me about Leon, saying he's a great guy. One day, Leon asked me out on a date, and I said yes. We started dating. Leon has 2 children, 14 male and 12 male. His wife died in an accident 9 years ago. Here comes the problem. Leon always talks about his wife. I know it sounds ugly to complain about it, but I don't say it with jealousy. I mean it uncomfortably. He mentions her in intimate moments of our time, such as we finish having intimacy or we're having a date. Sometimes he just starts telling me random anecdotes about his wife, and I just stay there feeling like I'm sleeping with a married man and I'm the side piece. I don't ask for much, just to have a date where it's just me and him. A date where I don't feel like someone's lover with a man who talks about the things we like. He goes to the psychologist, so according to him, he's working better on his grief, but I doubt it very much. I'm not the first girlfriend he had after his wife passed away. He still has contact with his family, which is obvious. They are the grandparents of his children, and I have met them in person only one time, because all they did was tell me how much Leon and his wife loved each other and treat me really bad. I remember that they put a video with photos of Leon and his wife when they married, while I was like this, and then puts a emoji of a person standing with their arms out basically, because they didn't even give me a chair to sit. I think in their minds it's cute to see me and my boyfriend with his wife. I don't know, it's not cute, it's weird. He always says in front of me that she was the love of his life. I find it cute, but when I think about the future, I'm just like, do I really want to get old with a man who is making it clear that he will never love me? Is that the kind of love I want? I want to be the only one for my future husband. One time I took him to my favorite place and he just said, it's beautiful. I wish my wife's name was here so we could show her this. You two would have been good friends. It's like being a third wheel in my own relationship. I can tell a lot of situations like these. A lot. We talked about this. Most of the times he just says he does that without thinking, but then he seems to forget about it and goes back to his usual behavior, and I'm tired. One time I talked about this with my family. I was only told that a real woman wouldn't be jealous of a dead woman. I'm not jealous. I'm uncomfortable and would be happy to be with a man who has loved another woman like that. I shouldn't expect them to love me in the same way, since all love is different, and that I should just be empathetic and supportive of him. I listened to them, but nothing got better. I've been feeling so much pressure to go through with this that I can't take it anymore. Anyways, I stopped listening to my family and finally talked with my friend who's a psychologist and told me that his behavior is not healthy for anyone and that I should think for myself. She texts, good for him for loving his wife so much, but you don't deserve to be used as an emotional support doll. And she's right. I've decided to cut off the relationship, but this year marks 10 years since the death of his wife. Not only his family, even my family is helping them host a family reunion in honor of her for the things she likes. I think it's a nice thing to do, but I'm totally ready to end the relationship. But I'm afraid I'm the bad guy in this story. The 10th anniversary is in July. I want to end the relationship now, but I fear I will be a piece of shit if I do that in this year when he is so vulnerable, and my family is pushing me to act like if I was his wife's best friend. He even says that his wife and I would be good friends if we had met. Why would you want your wife to be friends with a woman you're sleeping with right now? It's too weird. I think I'm insane because everyone around me sees it as something cute. In short, I don't know if I should break up with him right now or wait until, I don't know, next year. Would I be a piece of shit if I break up with him now? Opie added a couple of comments that give a little bit of additional information. Opie said he goes to therapy and has even taken me many times to his wife's grave until I asked him to not take me anymore because I don't feel comfortable. I know he goes to visit her grave a lot. Yes, I think my family acts that weird because my brother goes through the same situation with his wife and they think I want the same thing. Someone asked Opie about why his previous relationship ended, and Opie says he told me that because his ex-girlfriend hated when he talked about his wife and didn't respect her memory. At the time I believed him, but now I think the girl maybe was feeling like me. He once told me that he mistakenly called his ex by his wife's name. There's going to be an anniversary every single year. I'm afraid there's never a good time to break up like this, and whilst of course I have empathy for him for what he's going through, and he clearly needs a lot more therapy to get him through his grief right now. But you don't deserve to be treated like this either. Some of the things you said, when you're getting intimate with him, he's mentioning her name. Yeah, I don't blame you for feeling weird about that. You should be loved like Leon loved his late wife. Rose Joy says, you say he's in therapy, but it doesn't sound like he is firmly on the road to healing and moving forward. Have you both discussed joint therapy? How's your relationship with the kids? You are not the arsehole for feeling uncomfortable in this situation. That real women don't get jealous line is a load of bullshit. No one can put a timeline on grief, so you can't force him to move on. There is really no reason for you to prolong your misery in this relationship. If you want out, get out now. Opie replies saying, I really believe that he's not helping himself heal, or maybe he doesn't even try. I'm even curious if he's telling his therapist the truth. My relationship with the kids is good. I see them very occasionally, but they don't act like him at all. They don't remember their mother, so they never make uncomfortable comments to me like the rest of them. Blob Psycho says, not the arsehole, I'm not suggesting that he should forget about her or undermining his grief, but why get a new partner if all you're going to focus on is your late spouse? Opie says, I think the same. His last ex-girlfriend probably went through the same thing now that I think about it. Virtual Choir Boy says, not the arsehole. Ultimately, waiting just prolongs the misery for you and continues to delay his grief recovery. Your family and her family continuing to support keeping her front and center of his life are not helping matters. And while they will all likely say you are wrong to do this, none of them have to live with being third place in their own relationships. In my head, the conversation starts something like this. I'm sorry, Leon, but this just isn't working for me anymore. I'm always feeling like a stranger or an outsider in my own relationship, and that's not healthy. We can't even share an intimate moment without you springing your late wife into the conversation. It's been absolutely hurtful. I'm sorry, but I simply can't continue. We'll also probably be skipping family gatherings because I suspect everyone will hate me for doing this too. Unfortunately, I really don't see any way to get through this. I wish you the best of luck and hope that you find peace someday. And a final comment from EAC who says, I see you being more concerned about his feelings than he is about yours. You know that you're tired of being treated like a second-class citizen, so why would you delay walking away from this emotional vampire? He's slowly sucking the life out of you by using you as a sounding board about his late wife. It's time to think about yourself for a change and do what's best for you. Opie responds saying, I've had a hard time thinking about my own feelings. At one point, I spoke to people who were with widowers, and all the advice from these people can be summed up in, be empathetic. Don't try to get him to love you like his deceased wife, and just be a companion to him until he feels ready. I think I asked for advice in the wrong place at the time and got carried away by those comments and what my family was telling me. You're right, it's really time to think about myself. And there's being empathetic, which I get, having empathy for someone, having empathy for someone who's going through that kind of grief, but then it's coming at a cost to you, which is just not on. And if he can't see that, he's clearly not ready for a relationship. I mean, mentioning her during intimacy and things like that, it's just wild. But OP comes in with her update and says a few people who live the same situation messaged me, and that really helped me to feel understood. I finally talked with all my friends about everything he did. I always avoided doing that because I knew they were going to tell me that I should leave him, but I just ended up being trapped by everyone else's words. We didn't love each other, and that's obvious, even if he says he doesn't think so. Yes, I actually posted to get approval. I don't know how bad is that, but I needed to know that I was doing things right and that I was not crazy, but I said the truth to my friends. The next day, I talked to Leon. I really needed to break up at that point. He came to see me at my house and I told him we needed to talk. I went straight to the point saying I want to end the relationship, and he instantly asked me what he did wrong. We literally had this talk before, and he does know what things make me feel uncomfortable. I was tired, so I just proceeded to list everything he did. How he never defended me in front of his ex-in-laws. How he never made an effort to stop naming his wife all the time, even though I told him thousands of times that it made me uncomfortable. How he makes me feel like I'm the third wheel in my own relationship, etc. He apologized, saying the same as always, that he doesn't realize it when he does that. We've had this discussion before many times, but this time I told him I want to break up. I also told him that I don't think his therapist is helping, but Leon just said he is helping him and he feels mentally well. Leon told me that we could start going together with his therapist because he knows that it can be hard for a woman to be with a widower. Jealousy is a normal thing in this kind of cases, and that really triggered me. I've let both his and my family make me believe that I'm crazy jealous. I've even let blogs about widower couples fill my head with things like, you just have to be empathetic, don't expect him to love you. He's always going to love his first wife more, so just get used to it and be a good woman. I've let myself be trampled on just because everyone told me that getting over a loss is difficult and I have to be empathetic and think about the other. I'm so damn tired of it. I'm tired of being empathetic. I've been dragging this thought for months, and in that moment, I just burst out. We yelled at each other. We said a lot of things to each other, but at the end of it all, he went on with his mentality that I'm wrong and I'm just jealous. He said that I clearly don't feel ready to date a widower, and I ended up being like his ex. I told him that he's a fucking hypocrite, that he filled his mouth talking shit about his ex-girlfriend, but now I'm sure he treated her just like he treated me. He probably took a submissive woman to fulfill the void and took us as sex dolls. None of that echoed in his mind because he left my house saying I'm jealous of a ghost and I disappointed him. I'm fed up. I'm so angry while I write this. As soon as he left the house, I sent my mother a message saying that I'm not going to live the same life of my sister-in-law, living in the shadow of a woman who's no longer in this world, and they should have empathy for me and not for a man who's not even in their family. I told her that I'm tired of being pressured and I don't care if I die single. I'm sure they don't care about how I feel. In the end, they will keep saying that I have a cold heart like always, but I want to not care about that anymore. My friends are staying at my house to keep me company, and I can finally get all the accumulated shit out of my brain with them. I don't feel good being second, and I know I'll always be second. I don't want to replace the place of the first wife, and I know that even if I wanted to, I never will. I know a lot of people feel good with that kind of relationship, but not me. Maybe I'm really cold-hearted, but I'm surely not that empathetic. If his wife were alive, he clearly would never choose me. He wouldn't even look at me. I don't like that kind of love, and I really had a hard time accepting that I don't want that kind of love for myself. I feel that I'm still young, and I can wait for a man to have me as the first choice in his heart. I hope Leon can overcome his traumas and be happy, but not with me. Someone messaged me that I don't deserve his love. But what love are we talking about? I'm just a sex doll at this point. For now, he's not going to change, and he doesn't want to change, but that's not my business. I'm not a bedroom therapist anymore. I'd rather be single forever than falling again in that. I want to start more therapy and Pilates. I'm still obviously affected by all of this, and nothing really changed. Nothing would change that fast, but I'm just happy that I'm free now. For now, I just wanted to vent, so sorry if everything sounds too aggressive. And I just feel that's definitely the best in this situation for OP to get out of that, because it doesn't sound like it's going to change. I mean, it sounds like you told him many times about this discussion and he just turns it around that you're just jealous. So there's going to be no change in this relationship. He claims he's still mentally well. And I have questions about the therapist as well. You know, I'm no expert or anything like that at all, but everyone around him doesn't sound like they're doing him any favors. I'm not saying he has to forget his wife, but keep mentioning her to the level that he is right now, intimate moments, and thinking that's acceptable? Come on now. But now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. It doesn't have an update as yet. It's from Silly Emu 9279, and I just saw the title and I thought, ooh, Wanna see what goes on here. And it's titled, Am I the Arsehole for saying just leave at my cookout? My sister Nicole, 34, brought her new boyfriend Steve to our family cookout yesterday. It's for about 30 people. For the sides, everyone brought in sides. My sister brought one bag of store-brand potato chips, and Steve helped himself to a beer right away before being introduced to everyone. We are having hamburgers and hot dogs and just hanging out with the family. It's nothing fancy. Steve asks, "Is this it?" when the first plate of hot dogs is done and waiting on the round of hamburgers. My wife says there'll be hamburgers soon, and Steve tells my wife and his sister about his family and how they have barbecue chicken, steak, shrimp, and many options. I picked up the plate of hot dogs and told Steve he could leave and go to his family barbecue instead. He just looked at me and drank his beer. I told him and my sister to go since this wasn't good enough for Steve. I gave my sister store-brand potato chips back and told her to get out. My sister and Steve left, and the cookout was fine after that. My mum heard about me kicking them out and was mad at me and told me to apologize to my sister. Maybe there was a misunderstanding, but Steve was just an arsehole commenting like that at someone's house. And the first time you meet their family, my wife thinks I was right because Steve acted like that in her home. And insulting the host is a good reason to be kicked out. Others are split about 50-50 when they heard about what happened. But Wicked Fairy says not the arsehole. Mum, you're more than welcome to let sister's name's boyfriend insult you in your home, but he won't be doing it in mine. Rational Boundary says not the arsehole. Why would you put up with this nonsense at your own home? I don't understand anyone who thinks you went too far. Do they think this jackass would have just stopped at just one comment? Hell no. As host, you ensured your 30 guests wouldn't be subjected to entitled, passive-aggressive bullshit. Yeah, absolutely. That would have just, once he got a little bit more confidence, he seems to be full of confidence anyway to do this shit, but the comments would have just kept coming. Left says, not the arsehole. I've had to do this at a dinner party. I told an ex-friend to take her boyfriend and leave because he clearly hadn't been house-trained well enough, given that he felt comfortable insulting a host in their own home, in addition to showing up uninvited and leaving piss all over my bathroom floor. Gee whiz. Next commenter says, everyone sucks here, but not for your first comment. I'm a big fan of if you're not having fun, you can leave, and all its variations. You absolutely have the right to call someone out for insulting your own party in your own home. Steve is apparently really tactless and needs to learn some lessons about social interaction. However, I say everyone sucks here because I think you should have stopped after your first comment. It sounds like it sufficiently humbled Steve and he probably wouldn't have made further comments. He or your sister may have even apologized, but you didn't really give them the chance. I think you went a little too far by immediately insisting they leave and handing the chips back. If he had continued to make rude comments, then absolutely kick him out. Busy says everyone sucks here. Steve, obviously an arsehole, you could have had them deliver the line about him going to his family barbecue instead and made your point. Everyone at that point would have remembered the day as Steve meeting the family and looking like a jerk. But you kicked him out, and your sister, who didn't actually do anything, and admittedly made about half your guests upset. Personally, I'd have found it pretty strange for a host to actually kick out a relative over that comment. The only time I've seen people actually forced to leave a party was for something like getting really drunk or saying something racist, not for the arsehole-ish comment. An Income Separate says, guess I'm going to be the unpopular vote again. Everyone sucks here. Why the fuck are you punishing your sister? She didn't do anything wrong. The barbecue was nothing fancy, your own words. Bringing a bag of store-bought chips to a casual family barbecue is completely acceptable, especially when everyone else is bringing something too. He grabbed a drink before being introduced to people. Okay, is it required etiquette at a casual family barbecue to wait to be introduced to everyone before grabbing a beverage to sip on? Was the beer not for everyone to drink anyway? You called him out for his rude behavior and he stopped. That should have been the end of it. There was no need to be a hothead and kick both him and your sister out after he stopped. Yeah, it looks cool justice on Reddit, but the real world doesn't function on Reddit justice. Many of the guests were upset by what you did as well. And the comments were very much all over the place. There was a load of not the arseholes, a ton of everyone sucks here as well, with a couple of you're the arsehole sprinkled in. So I'm going to be really interested to know what your verdict is on this one. I gotta say, and I'm not sure if it's going to be an unpopular opinion either, but I'm going with not the arsehole. For For someone to turn up like this, instantly grab a beer right away, it's not the end of the world, but at the same time, it just gives me an inkling to the kind of attitude. And to say, is this it? There's part of me thinking about her comment about the sister bringing one bag of store brand potato chips as well. But I don't know. And was it an overreaction to should she have just put up with it, etc.? I just find the behavior absolutely bizarre to rock up as a new person and start acting this way at someone else's barbecue. I find that wild behavior. But what about you guys? What do you guys think about this one? Are you siding on the not the arseholes that everyone sucks it, or you're the arseholes? As always, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate you, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care, you bloody cheeky so-and-so. Much love, guys.